Hello and welcome to the Competitive Pokemon Battle Network Facebook YouTube channel. My name is Gyarados and I'm excited to bring you a 6v6 singles Oris OU battle today. This is a guy I found on the Smogon Wi-Fi Battle Finder and we had a lot of fun. It was a really cool battle. Neither of us, we were supposed to be a standard OU match, but neither of us really brought OU stuff. The only OU Pokemon I see is Scizor, which it's really fine. It's more of a mixed tier sort of thing, and maybe that kind of added to some of the fun of it. So looking at the teams, I have a Scarf Mespirit, a Life Orb Mienshao, a Sash Galvantula, standard Florges, defensive Mega Swampert, and a late game sweeping Haxorus. So Florges and Swampert form a really interesting wall core that I read about. Swampert resists the Steel and Poison types that can hurt Florges, and Florges can tank special grass types pretty well. So I was really excited to try those guys out. On his side of the field, I see a Umbreon Swampert, which could be a problem to deal with. They're usually together. They make a really good defensive core. Chandelure, which is probably Scarfed or Specs, and that'll be a problem to deal with. It has a huge special attack, and Florges will probably have to take it on by itself later on. Kingdra I know nothing about. Magzone I know nothing about, and then Scizor, which I predict to be banded, actually does end up being banded. So, my plan right at the beginning is just to at some point get up Sticky Web with Galvantula and bring in Swords Dance Haxorus to sweep whatever's left of his team, which, we'll see how that works out for me. So let's get into the battle. For leads, I was thinking either Mespirit, Mienshao, or Galvantula, but I decided to just lead with Mespirit because it's the fastest thing on my team. It's Scarfed, and I'll be able to get momentum with U-turn if I need to. He ends up leading Magnezone, which I think that's a fine lead. I have Mega Swampert switch into it, which I do here with U-turn, but I see what he was going for. I assumed that he would go for a Volt Switch, but I think he ends up going for a Thunder Wave here, which is another interesting play. It turns out that he has Leftovers, which is going to come into play later. I didn't really think anything of it until a couple turns from now, but for now I'm just going to Mega Evolve. I go for a Substitute because I predict that his Magnezone is going to switch out, because I'm immune to one of his stabs and resistant to the other, but he just stays in and goes for a Flash Cannon, which is not going to do very much damage to me. Now here I reveal that I have Substitute. I am more of a defensive Swampert, but I bred it to have a 201 HP, so I can make 4 subs and still live on 1 HP. And the fact that I have such healthy subs, I have so much HP for my sub, his Flash Cannon is not going to be able to knock me out. Not that I thought he would survive this hit, but it turns out he has Sturdy. I was predicting Analytic or Magnet Pull, but Sturdy really works out for him here. And on top of this, he also gets a critical hit on my Substitute. So I'm not going to be able to keep that Substitute around. I could go for another Substitute, but I decide that it's more important to keep my Swampert at a high enough HP so that I can switch into Chandelure later, because water versus fire, I have the advantage there. So I just decided to knock it out with a Waterfall. Now here he goes into Kingdra, which is going to scare me out. Mega Swampert has a respectable special defense, but I'm not invested in it. I'm invested in HP, defense, and attack. So I just switched into Florges, which Dragon versus Fairy type, I have a clear advantage here. He does go for a Scald, which does a good amount, but isn't really enough in my opinion. I think that he's going to switch out. I think he should switch out. But I'm going to go for a Moonblast. Based on what he did with his Magnezone, where he just stayed in and just tried to kill me, I'm predicting him to stay in again, and I'm just going to Moonblast him, and he's just going to die. Even if he didn't die, I could get a special attack drop, or next turn I could Protect and Wish. I have so many options, I just go straight for the Moonblast, and it works out for me here, because now he's down 2 Pokemon, and I have really big advantage here. Now, I thought this play was really obvious, just bring in Scizor and go for a Bullet Punch. But he thought about this move for a long time, which made me suspicious. I was like, maybe he'll go for a U-turn. Maybe he'll go for something else. So I go for the Protect, and it turns out he has Pursuit. That basically confirms that this is a banded Scizor, because what else? You wouldn't run Pursuit on any other type of Scizor except banded. So he has to switch out, because Pursuit is for one thing, it's a Dark type attack on a Fairy type. So even if I had switched out, I don't know how much it would have done to me. But he's going to have to switch out, because I'm going to be able to Wish and protect my way up to full if he doesn't. So he switches into Chandelure. And this is where I said earlier I'm going to have that HP for Mega Swampert to be able to switch in on the Chandelure. I'm really lucky that he didn't predict this and go for Energy Ball if he has it. Instead, he just goes for the Heat Wave, which is a good middle ground. It's going to do some damage, not enough, though. and he could have gotten a burn on it, which would have been really inconvenient because Swampert is a great mega attack, great mega for physical attacking. He's gonna decide to switch out here. He doesn't want to stay in. Both of my stab moves are super effective against him. And it would be silly for him to try and take me out. So on the switch, I go for a substitute again. It turns out that he also has a Mega Swampert, which it's kind of funny here. You're gonna see that he moves before me, which means even though I'm a Mega Swampert and have an extra 10 base speed, he is speed invested and is able to outspeed me. So it's actually kind of, looking at it now, he might have had some sort of rain team going on with the Kingdra and the Mega Swampert, but it really didn't end up working out. I never saw rain in this match at all. Anyway, I get the Toxic off, and the next couple turns are just me and him just punching each other in the face. It's really inconvenient for him that he didn't get the flinch here. If he had gotten a flinch with this Waterfall, I would have been in a lot of trouble. But I'm able to get a lot of damage off of this Earthquake, which does about half, and then with the Toxic, it's going to bring him down really low. The Waterfall isn't going to be able to take me out next turn, but this Earthquake is, so I'm kind of at a standstill here. Fortunately, he is at a low enough HP after the Toxic damage and all of the chip damage I was able to get off of him that even like Mespirit can kill him with a U-turn, Mienshao can kill him with a U-turn, even Florja, if I just brought it in and protected, could kill him. See, now here's my shiny Mienshao. I love this little guy. You're not going to see him very much. He's actually just going to U-turn and then leave the battle. I hope you enjoyed him while he last. But whatever. He's actually one I was braiding for a 5IV Mienshao, and I just ended up with a shiny just by accident. That happens sometimes, but I'm really happy with that guy. Unfortunately, he's not going to be much help in this one. Maybe another battle. It's kind of, this point is kind of like a neutral game right here. He's down 3 Pokemon, so I decide to go in Galvantula and start setting up my end game. Like, my strategy to get up Sticky Web and Swords Dance with Haxorus and sweep his entire team, that's what I'm going for right now. His Bullet Punch is not doing enough to my Galvantula to 2-hit KO it, which means I'm going to get a lot of chip damage off with this Thunder. And that's really going to be helpful later on. Haxorus is going to be able to, if I decide that I need to lock myself in on Outrage, then to kill whatever's left. He has Chandelure, which will take an Earthquake, which can't take an Earthquake. Umbreon might be able to. I can just go for that Outrage now, and it'll kill even if it's a resisted hit. I decide to go into Mespirit here, because that Banded Scizor is doing way too much damage to my team, and I decide to try and knock it off. I completely forget at this time that he has an Umbreon, but it's not that big a deal. I can at least get off its item, which I would assume was going to be leftovers, but ends up being Citrus Berry. I've never really seen Citrus Berry Umbreon. It's a little, I don't know, maybe he plays more doubles, it's more something you see in doubles with Citrus Berry, or maybe he put leftovers on something else, maybe he didn't get it in game, who knows. But he does go for the Confuse right here, which is really a surprise. I don't agree with having Confuse Ray on Umbreon. I guess it's fine. It doesn't really end up doing anything here, because Florja is a special attacker. Even if I did hit myself, it wouldn't do anything. I decided to go for a Moonblast, which is what I did earlier on his Kingdra, which is why maybe he switched out here, is that he didn't want his Umbreon to get knocked out so early in the match. Well, it's not really early, but he didn't want his Umbreon to get knocked out. So he switches into Chandelure. It's resisted hit. I don't know if that was the best play. I would have switched into Scizor, but maybe he thought if I did go for the Moonblast, I was going to knock him out. Who knows? This is a really good point where I decide to protect to see what he'll lock himself in on, because at this point, I'm sure he's Scarfed because of how he played around my Swampert. And it turns out he actually goes for the Trick, which would have crippled my Florges had I not gotten the Protect off. If I'd hit myself Confusion and then been Tricked, that would have been really inconvenient. But as it is, he is tricking my Mespirit, and we are just going to exchange Scarfs, which I thought was kind of funny. It's like we went to the mall, like my Chandelure and his Mespirit, or his Chandelure and my Mespirit went to the mall together and just like trying on scars and like, hey, you try this one, I'll try this one. It's like, oh no, we'll just do this and it's fine. So predicting him to switch out, because it'd be kind of silly to just keep trading scarves back and forth. I go for the U-turn on his predicted Umbreon switching, which does a lot of damage. It was a critical hit, which is very nice. I decide that this is the point where I'm going to go into Haxorus and try to win the game. Unfortunately, I made a mistake when I brought this Haxorus. I usually run Lumberry, the Lumberry Outrage, to be able to, or if I get burned. But in this case, I'm going to get confused, which would have gone away. But in this case, I'm just going to get confused, and it's going to be bad times. That Swords Dance boosted my attack really, really high, and Haxorus is very fragile, so that Hurt Myself in Confusion does a lot. It does like half my damage, which is very annoying. To make it even worse, Umbreon goes for the Moonlight here, and I don't know. I don't really like Moonlight on Umbreon. I think Wish Protect is better, but then again, I'm the kind of person that enjoys Wish Passing, which you saw earlier with Florges and Swampert. Anyway, that Moonlight did nothing. It would have been better to just go for the Foul Play to try and kill me, because one Outrage just knocks that thing out. Unfortunately, he has a Scizor with priority, and Haxorus is not the most bulky Pokemon. So with the Life Orb damage and the damage I hit myself on for Confuse Ray, the Bullet Punch is going to take me out. But now it leads to an interesting moment where my full health Scarf Mespirit is going to be able to clean up this game. Like, that Bullet Punch is going to do a lot, but it's not going to kill me. And if I knock off his Choice Band, he's going to do even less damage next turn. It actually does just enough so that I live with, I think, let's see, 17%, and the second knockoff's going to kill. All he has left is Chandelure, which is going to get caught in the Sticky Web, and that's going to clean up the game. And you Mespirit just killed a Scizor, and I just think that's amazing. That's a fantastic thing to see. So, in the future, I might bring some of these Pokemon back. I have a lot of trained Pokemon that I want to try out, and a lot of different kinds of battling that I want to do. And if you enjoyed this, leave a comment. If you want to battle me, just go to our Facebook page, Competitive Pokemon Battle Network, and leave your friend code. We'll try and figure out a time where if you want to battle, you can battle me. Or any of the other admins that are on the page. This was a really fun battle, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I look forward to talking with you guys again soon.